Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream to the show. That's it. That's all you have to do. I take it from there. You can also download my free, very comprehensive dictionary so you can have a go at analysing your own dreams or even see if you can figure out how I got the analysis of the dreams I cover on the show. Anyway, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. It's funny how at this time of year we take stock of what we have accomplished or what we have not accomplished that really was on our radar. Our holiday period is different than what we expected, my wife and I, that is. Instead of a trip to the Great Wolf Lodge, our grandkids are staying with us while my daughter Heidi, and you all know her, is in the hospital waiting for their new sister to arrive. All is well and the delivery is scheduled for January 2nd. But as a precaution, she'll be in hospital until then. So we know next year will be extra special for our family. This year, my business has finished on a high and I expect next year to be far better. That's because I hired a coach in 2019 and have another one hired for 2020. I've learned that doing things don't change for me unless I work to change them. And it's best to get help. That's why I hired a coach. What will be different for you next year? What issues would you like to leave behind in 2019? Even issues maybe that you've had all your life. If you ever had a one-to-one strategy call with me, you already know what your biggest issues are and how I can help you to clear them by signing up to my signature course. I've got a new course that has just started, but you can still join before January 5th because that's when the first live class is. Nothing will change unless you work to change it. 2020 will end up with you still holding on to the same issues you've always had if you use the same methods you've always used to try heal. Working with me will heal your issues and your life will completely transform. I know that because I have been doing these small group courses for nearly 30 years and it always works. It has no choice but to work because your dreams are the most customized healing plan you will ever receive. But don't take my word for it. Here's an email I just got from Randall W. And with his permission, I'll read it now. I got it December 28th, 2019. He says, "Dear Michael, I wanted to take some time to articulate the difference your dream class made in my life. I remember the first several dreams you interpreted were life-altering. You said, for one, that my dreams were showing that my entry into the world was difficult. Did your mother have a difficult birth with you? I was surprised at 65 years old, with a master's in psychology, 12 years of therapy, thousands of dollars of transformational workshops and classes, that my dreams were communicating that I had a difficult birth. Yes, my birth was difficult. My mom wanted to have an abortion with me since they had 3 kids and the latest just 10 months earlier. Then you went on to say, your dreams also show that you are pissed off with your mom about this. This got my attention. Then you went on to say that I came to this earth with spiritual skills and talents. I was tickled to think that I was a spiritual leader, intuitive and a channel, but not shocked given my coaching and leadership work over the years. Your agreement was, you tell me your dreams and do the classes. I assist you with your guides to remove the issues, barriers to your spiritual expression and your real purpose in being here. I was all in. I found having weekly meetings and classes incredibly interesting and challenging. I was a voracious reader of anything you recommended. You saw things in my dreams that floored me. 1, I was still angry with my mom about the abortion attempt. 2, I was uncomfortable about being gay and general self-expression. 3, I felt bullied as a child and still from time to time feel bullied. 4, that I don't love myself. And 5, I did not want to be on the planet. Overall, I had this feeling of doing what other people wanted me to do, going through life, putting on a good face, but never really feeling like I fit in. Well, with most people, including my mom and family, I felt my guard go up to protect myself, phrasing things in a way so as not to rock the boat. My good life was on automatic. Working with you shifted the context of my life from being there for others to placing me in the center of my life. I embraced my spiritual self. I am on a spiritual journey that includes my spiritual, psychological, emotional, and physical health. And expansion is my purpose for being. Over the several months of working with you, I have an expanded sense of connection in the world. I feel a deep sense of belonging with my family and friends. I belong. I have a new relationship with my mom and my family and my husband. I feel surrounded by love, the love of my guides. I am gay and feel like it is not a big deal, that I have just as much a right to be me as others do. In fact, it is critically important to being here for my learning, and that other people are on their spiritual journey too. They're in charge of their lives and it is their job to learn, not mine. Lastly, I'm really looking forward to what is next on my spiritual journey and mostly just living. Thank you for my new life and providing your incredible gifts to me. I feel so blessed to have had the opportunity to do this work. Blessings and love, Randall W. Gosh, isn't that great? I love working with people because I love seeing the transformation that happens. That always happens, just like for Randall. Age has nothing to do with it. We're here on a spiritual journey, and whenever we want to do this, we can do this. If you want a transformation in your life, January 5th, get in before January 5th, go to dream-analysis.com, click on courses, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's have a look at some questions and dreams. The first one, I got two questions in over the week that are related. One from Bruce and one from Jesse. Jesse says, what does a very large window at the back of a plane mean? There were only 6 rows of seats on the plane. Well, that one's an easy one. A window at the back is a window on the past, but the window being positive like this asks you to use your intuition, which is what the window represents, to look at what you need to see clearly in the past. Bruce's is similar, but his window was on the rear left and was 3 by 3 meters. And so this is saying you got to watch out that you're not just focusing on the past. The left in dreams is about the past, the right is about the future, unless you're on the Dharmic path, and I've covered this many times, but generally that's the way it is. So it's saying don't just focus on the past. You have to look at the past with also having a view on how it affects your future. So you're only looking at the past in order to heal it. A narrow window in a dream would, that's looking at the back garden, for instance, would be the same thing, because it's saying that your view on life is limited by the fact that you, by what went on in your past, limiting your view. Anyway, thanks for those questions. And then we have a dream from Jesse. Although I don't think this was Jesse. I think I've got the name wrong. The dream is, I woke from a dream where actor Tony Shalhoub, I don't know if I pronounced it right, playing Abe Wiseman from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, was telling me he is sequestering himself at the Hilton to write his book. Well, this really needs no interpretation. You're meant to write a book. There you go. Duh. And of course, little bits of it do. Tony Shalhoub is an actor, so it's saying you're going to channel what you're going to put into this book. Actors are told what to say, so you're going to be told what to say. And then his name is Abe Weissman, so both very positive names, basically saying this would be wise for you to do. And Abe is a name for leadership. So you're going to help people by writing this book, by channeling a spiritual leadership kind of book for people. And you're to sequester yourself. And of course, what else have we got in there? The Hilton is a hotel. So it's saying that you came here to do this. Hotels are about your reception at birth. So here it's reminding you that all the way back when you came to the planet, the point of doing this life, in fact, is you sequestering yourself in order to write this book. Why haven't you got it done? All right, just kidding. But do it, please. And then tell us about this book later on in the show, and we will say, hey, here's Jesse's book, and here's Jesse's real name, because I know I've got that name wrong. And then we have a dream from Abby. She says, I am on a ski vacation with friends. One of them is Tom Brady, the football player. There are layers to him like a Russian doll, and I see the layers unpeeling like you'd peel an apple in a circle to reveal the core. Someone says, Tom Brady has done so much work on himself. He's a great partner. One of us left some sort of pill medication on the ironing board, and Gail Kronberg overdosed with it and died. Two of my female friends are talking about it with shock and sadness. Okay, that's the dream. Let's go back and look at some of this. So when Abby told me this dream, she said, I have this dream and I think it's a really good one. Then it reminded me of my brother. He would often say, I had an absolutely wonderful dream last night. Really, really enjoyed it. And he says, and I'm not telling you because you'll just spoil it on me. Well, I'm afraid, Amy, I'm going to spoil this one on you. When you started off straight away with, I'm on a ski vacation with friends. Well, skiing takes place in the cold, on the snow. So it's saying that you're not expressing yourself. That's the very start of the dream. Tom Brady is positive in the dream in the fact that he's a football player, and he's also a very famous football player, you know, having won Super Bowls several times. So that's about you playing the game of life. That's what football is about. So it's saying ski trip with him, you hold yourself back when playing the game of life. And remember, we didn't come here to hold ourselves back. Marianne Williamson has the best quote on this. Like, who are you to hide your light so that others may appear to shine more brightly? That's not what your life is about. You may as well not come here, because then you'll be out of other people's way. Anyway, you say there are layers to him like a Russian doll, and I see the layers unpeeling. Well, the layers unpeeling is very good, but the layers isn't being there at all in the first place. They're not good. But they're unpeeling to reveal the core, and that's what you need to do. Is you need to keep taking away the layers of yourself that you have up for protection. We know it's protection because we have the ski vacation, and we have the Russian doll. The Russian thing will be the same thing. Russia is about, in dreams, when you're from the West, is about suppression, and different, of course, if you're from Russia. So here it's saying you suppress yourself, and you've got all these layers. So even when you take a layer off, you have another layer underneath. So you're like, haha, I'm still protecting myself. You haven't got to the inner me. So this is what you do. Someone says Tom Brady has done so much work on himself. He's a great partner. That's you have done a lot of work on yourself. So kudos to you for that. And you've been working on your male side. In fact, that's what this would say. You've been working on your male side. And so what is a male side about? Male side is about showing up and owning the room, believing in yourself, having full confidence that you've every right to be there and what you're going to do matters, and so on and so on. That's essentially what it's all about. And so I asked you what had gone on recently. You said that you had a conversation. You met somebody in a cafe and you had a 3-hour conversation with them, and it was absolutely wonderful. And you held back the things that you thought that they wouldn't like to hear about yourself, that you're into the spiritual field and things of that nature. Well, I say that in the lead up to the next little piece, but here's the thing. But if you believe in yourself, you're not going to hold back in anything. You're just going to say, here's what I'm doing on the planet. I'm here to change the middle center line of the road to pink. That's what I'm going to do. I know that sounds crazy, but the point is, if you are here to do something, own it. Be here and own it and really push it in people's faces. Not that, not that we're all about pushing things in people's faces, but to make my point. I'm saying that to make my point. You're having this conversation, listening to this other person talk about himself, and you're holding back on yourself. Anyway, one of us left some sort of pill medication on the ironing board, and Gail Kronberg overdosed with it and died. Now, I had to ask you who Gail was, and I had a note up here about it, but I think she's to do with, she is a healer who uses singing bowls to do chakra clearings. So this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to sing. Let yourself sing. You're not doing it, and so in other words, you're letting yourself die by holding back. The pill medication almost always in dreams is about the kidneys, and that's because of the bottle. That pills come in bottles, and dreams represent the kidneys. And holding or denying your spiritual side affects your kidneys. And so we have the ironing board as well. What's the ironing board used for? It's like, I want to display myself to other people without any creases or wrinkles. Everything must be perfect. And of course, none of us is perfect, except me. But none of us is perfect. We all have faults. We all have dysfunctions. None of us comes through this mill unscathed. And we're meant to. Like, if you've ever listened to the show, you know that. We're all meant to pick up dysfunctions in childhood, and then we're meant to work on those to heal them. But we still have come through that. So never try put on a front that everything is perfect. And if somebody else wants you to put on that front, you don't want to be around that person. You want to be able to be yourself. And that's what the male energy here is about. Feeling worthy of being in the room or using the oxygen in the room that you need just because of who you are. Anyway, this woman overdosed and died. Two of my female friends are talking about it with shock and sadness. So this is saying that denying your spiritual side, your spiritual nature, because we're all spiritual. So this is like denying yourself. I'm not human. I'm not a spirit. I'm not whatever it is. I'm not these things. The very things that you came here to discover about yourself and expand your awareness of. And you are going through life saying, I need to suppress these because other people don't need to see this part of me. Well, of course they do. And mostly you do. And the result of suppressing that brings on depression, sadness, all sorts, like over a long period of time, extended depression, and then not wanting to be on the planet. So that's why we have this here. Female side is dying because of this. Listen to your intuition. That's what the two female friends are talking about it with shock and sadness. Listen to your intuition and your channeling, and do what you're being told to do. So thank you for the dream, Abby, and I apologize for spoiling it. No, I don't. Here's another one now from Nina. She says, well, before I do that, what is the point of all this? Okay, so we know from Abby, she's already worked on herself, and her current task is working on her male side. So absolutely, that's what she needs to do. Jessie, what does she need to do? She needs to sequester herself and write her book. Now these people have worked with me in the past, but sometimes we need to get help and say, okay, I don't know why I'm blocking myself, or I don't know what I need to do. And absolutely, you don't think that you're going to solve these problems on your own. Sometimes you can, but if you've tried for years, then don't be crazy and think that this year I'm going to do it on my own when every other year you haven't done it on your own. That's what my course is about. It's about helping you to do the things that your dreams say. And everybody who does my course, that's what they end up doing. Anyway, on to Nina's dream. She says, it's a birthday surprise for me. Actually, it was 3 surprise birthday parties. Many people are there, including old friends. They serve food like buffet style. I'm pretty happy about all of it, but not entirely. Afterwards, my sister talks to me. She's saying that I'm terribly ungrateful and mean. My dad and stepmother come along and they're saying the same. Okay, well, let's stop there for a moment. Well, that's a pretty bad start. Clearly in your life, somebody has called you ungrateful and mean, and this somebody is going to be family members. And it didn't just happen once. It has to be on a more regular basis for it to show up in a dream, or at least it has to be extremely prominent at some point in your life. Anyway, is it about today? Well, yes, dreams comment on about something that is going on today, but they bring you back to where this comes from. So something is causing you to feel like, the way you said, I'm pretty happy about all of it, but not entirely. So it's like there's something where you're like, you're putting up with what you're being given, but you're thinking, they didn't really go out of the way or whatever it is. And that may seem harsh, but when it comes to your life, you're meant to look at the world from your perspective, not from the perspective somebody else tells you need to have, like these people in the dream. So that's the problem. The first big thing we see in your dream, your parents and your family telling you the perspective that you need to have and telling you that you're ungrateful for the things other people are doing for you. Well, that's just crazy. But we need to go back to age 3 because you have 3 parties in this dream. So that tells us by age 3, you had decided that you weren't being given, like people were holding back. They weren't giving you what they could. They weren't giving you the love. Usually it's going to be love that you needed at that time in your life. We always need love. But as a kid, we are so wide open emotionally that we really, really need it then. And if we get it then, it fills our cup and we can share it with the rest of the world. But you clearly didn't get it. And that's what's behind all of this. It's not about things that are going on today. You're still trying to fill the void that was there in your life at the start. So let's continue on. We're sitting at some form of balcony with a view over the water. So the balcony tells us the net effect of you not receiving the love that you needed was to become very rational. So you calculate your way through life. You think about things and work out the best logical step forward. And why do we do that? the way I often say this one is that we put a wall up around our heart. And the idea is that if I keep people at a distance, then they won't be able to get close enough to me to reject me or close enough to not love me because I won't let them near me. And we usually use anger as the means to keep people at that distance. That's how we fortify this wall that we put up. But the balcony pretty much says the same thing. It's like I've retreated from my heart, so I'm not going to feel anything. And then I won't feel this sadness that's always going to be there. We will almost always see that later in a dream, and we do in this dream too. Anyway, you say you're at some form of balcony with a view over the water. It's dark outside and the water is very dark. So this is like, I don't know how to get out of the position I'm in. That's what it's being dark outside is about. And the water being dark is about my view of life. I don't expect great things. Let's put it that way. There is a boat close to the water's edge and it has a blinking red light. So there we have the blinking red light is the anger I was talking about before. You know, did you ever see a blinking red light that wasn't a warning? So, you know, it's danger. It's a symbol for danger. So this says that you use anger, you do employ it as your means. The boat tells us that you're meant to actually be working in the spiritual field, but you said that the water was dark. So it's like, I don't know where I'm meant to work in the spiritual field, and not only that, I probably have fears around that. Then you say, I've gotten a newspaper from my boyfriend where he has published an article on the front saying that this is my crisis. This is my own humanitarian crisis. So the newspaper, that's a symbol I have in my own dreams. That says that your spiritual skill is to spot the headlines of what somebody needs to look at in their lives. So if the newspaper is our whole story, and the articles in the dreams are about different various things in our lives, the headline is saying, giving the main part of what somebody needs to look at. So you point people in the direction of where they need to go. Like your issue is issues with mom, your issues is abuse in childhood, your issue is belief in yourself. These are the people you need to go to, this is who you need to go to, and so on and so on. So you're able to tell people, this is your issue, this is who you need to go see. So you're not necessarily going to help them yourself, but you're going to point them in the right direction because they didn't know what should I be picking up? And the newspaper says, look, these are the main stories. This is what you should be interested in. Anyway, and it's your boyfriend. And I thought that was strange. So I asked you off air about that piece. And you do write yourself. So dreams then will use other techniques to use the same symbols so that you can still know, hey, interpret this properly because your boyfriend doesn't write. And has never written articles for newspapers. So it is a way of bringing it in to the dream and still saying you can interpret this symbolically because it is not the normal thing. The dream ends with me being extremely mad, but also extremely sad. So that's what I said before. We're going to use the anger, and that's what the extremely mad here is about. And then the anger is used to protect you from this feeling of sadness in childhood. And you also say here, I was also extremely sad and I lose my ability to speak. I'm trying to scream, but I can't scream loudly. And so this is about it. Screaming is about expressing yourself. So it's saying that all this stuff, all this feeling really comes from you not being able to express yourself in childhood and being in a situation where family didn't allow you to express yourself. Now, it's always one parent, and in your case, it's mom. And you say my stepdad and stepmother come along. Even though you mentioned dad, mom is the one that you need to work on. You can't work on both parents at the same time, just not possible because it's at least using cutting the ties that bind, you can't, because there's different energy around them. So you need to work on mom, and that's going to take this away. And then that feeling of things don't measure up is going to disappear from your life. The feeling that people, they only made a half-hearted attempt, and really it's the half-hearted attempt is what's getting you, because it's all about the heart. It's all about love. I'm trying to, okay, did that. But the dream is set in rooms close to the water. It's dark surrounding the rooms and houses where I am, but everything is lit up with bright fluorescent lights. I have painted a painting in my dream that hangs at my mum's place. Okay, so there we go. Definitely mum. It's a face, blue face with red surrounding it. So the pitch sad and closed eyes. Okay, so that end of the dream tells us everything there. The pitch, sad and closed eyes, and hanging in your mum's place. So you need to go back, work on the issues around mum up until around age 3. And that's going to take away this sadness, because that's what it's there. That's why it's there. It comes from that time. I do like the bright fluorescent lights. That tells us that you have a strong intuition. You get feelings about things that are always correct. The feelings come with a lot of information, like you just know things, and that's really good. So you've got that as part of the benefit of working on the issues around your mom. It's going to bring that into much sharper focus for you. Last one. This one is from Roy. I'm in a place like a carnival. I have a partner, a young man about 30. We're trying to engage other men to wrestle to make money. A guy comes up and says yes. He seems nice enough, kind of a simple man, about the same age. We go to an area where there are 3 folding chairs in a large room with lots of little groupings of folding chairs. I say, I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. The guy follows me, so I enter. I see a line of urinals in a row and one over to the side. I take that one for privacy and go. The guy goes too. Another man comes in and I almost bump into him as I leave. He is sweet and laughs about it. So very quickly, we know it's about the relationship because your partner's in the dream. We know that you're wrestling with the idea of something because there is the wrestling in the dream, and it's 2 men wrestling. Men can represent ideas or logic in a dream. But you say yes. So this is something you're wrestling with, but you're definitely going to achieve. What are you going to achieve? You're going to achieve eliminating the things that cause you to stand to the side in the relationship or to hold back your feelings. And that's what the privacy in the bathroom is about. So very good, very positive dream. That's my show for this week. If you want me to do your dream, go to dream-analysis.com and you can find the details about how to send it to the show there and details about my upcoming course. Thank you very much for listening. See you next week.